This is Abnormal Entertainment.
Welcome, everybody, to the Cinema Head Cheese Podshort for Stranger Things 2. This is Kevin Moyers, and this will be filled with spoilers. They don't call it Season 2. They're calling it Stranger Things 2 for whatever reason. I don't care. Whatever. It's their show. Do what you want. What do I give a shit? Anyway, going to be spoilers in this because I need to talk about it. Burned through the series within 3 days. Started, with one or two, and then, I think I started with a partial episode, and then I went through a few yesterday and burned the rest today, while this is dropping on Halloween, so recording a few days earlier. A couple days earlier, anyhow. So, we're at about a year later, and you see where everybody is. Will is still kind of fucked up. He's weird. They're calling him Zombie Boy. They're making fun of him like he's back from the dead. And it's not cool. His brother Jonathan is trying very hard to help him. You have Nancy and Steve who are still together, but during the series, they do end up falling apart a bit there. And Steve, as things go, he started out being the dick in the first season, but he really is a good guy. And you see that throughout. We have some brand new characters. Of course, the sheriff, we know at the end of the first season, he's dropping Egos in the little box for Eleven to go get. And we find out that he has been housing her for about a year. A little less than a year, I guess. But just about. I guess he was, bringing stuff for her for a little bit before she finally just walked up to him and was like, hey. We have a couple new characters move into town. We have Billy, who is mega douchebag. And let me tell you, there are a couple scenes where it gets aggressive between Billy and Steve, and it is like... I don't know, mullet on mullet action. I'm just going to say that. Billy's mullet is something magnificent. Yeah, you just won't believe it. And he has his little stepsister, Max, who is right in class with Mike and Dustin and Lucas and Will. So they all kind of, Lucas and Dustin both like her. She beat a couple of Dustin's records at the arcade, and, they want to find out who it is, find out it's this girl, and it's 1984, so it's still like, oh, you got beat by a girl, wow, whereas that doesn't matter so much now. It's pretty funny. Will is starting to have some episodes where he kind of shifts into the upside down. They saw that at the end of season 1 where he barfed up that little worm down the sink, and, the bathroom kind of turns. Well, that keeps happening. So, Joyce, his mom, and Sheriff Hopper, they take him to basically the facility where 11 was kept for so long. It's run by different people now. Modine and his crew, they're mostly gone. And, what was Modine's character? Papa. Anyway, they're gone, so, now Paul Reiser is a doctor who is there, and at first he looks like he's, the psychologist for Will, but, then you figure out where they are, and that this is, kind of a situation where they're trying to control the story, what's going on. They have the gate still down there in the basement, and every so often a guy goes in with a blowtorch and just torches up all the tentacles coming through and all that stuff. So they can't quite close the gate, but they're doing their best to sort of maintain it, to keep it from being breached, more or less. So you're not quite sure if Dr. Owens, it's Reiser's character, if he's a bad guy or a good guy for a little bit, but you do figure that out as you get to the end. And it gets really complicated with him. Sean Astin is in it. He is Joyce's new boyfriend, Bob Newby. He works at Radio Shack. He's a really dorky guy, but really sweet at the same time, and he loves the family, and he wants to take care of all of them. He's starting to connect with Will a little bit, and he I think he's a good character, and he does, play a pivotal role in deciphering some of Will's drawings, which turn out to be a map. But yeah, I liked him. I liked him in this show. He has a moment or two that kind of references old stuff. He says something about finding a pirate treasure. Of course, a Goonies reference. There is a lot of that stuff throughout here. There's one scene where David Harbour is next to Paul Reiser, and I thought he looks like a modern Greg Evigan, if you remember My Two Dads. I thought that was pretty funny. They have little subtle things throughout, like at one point, Eleven's been taken in by Hopper, and at one point she's flipping the channels on the TV and comes across Punky Brewster, which, if you remember that show, George Gaines, his character, takes in, Punky Brewster, Soleil Moonfry, holy crap. But it's similar in that situation. There's so much stuff throughout this that is, just referencing old things in subtle ways and not so subtle ways, but I really enjoyed that. Overall, we have a new monster. It's this huge shadow creature. You have demogorgons, but they're smaller. There's like a worm thing that sheds and turns into, eventually, like, they're calling them demo dogs or whatever, but they're dog-like demogorgons. They have the big heads that open up like, flower blossom in that way. And, you do get the new team member with Max. Mike is constantly trying to contact 11. He has no idea. They all think she's dead. Because if, you remember the end of the last one, she gets onto the Demogorgon and they sort of turn into this black soot. So there's that. But the access to the Upside Down is much simpler. There's a lot of, like, rotting vegetation, and it sort of goes within circles. And it's really crazy. It's really crazy. Hopper ends up in it by mistake, not really realizing what he's doing. And there's just, God, it's so much. I'm not going to ruin everything, but, again, I wanted to give the spoiler warning in case I did mention something. I won't get into the fates of these characters and how things go, but you do start early on with a scene of another one of the affected kids, a numbered kid, number 8. So she eventually plays a bigger role later on. You don't see her for a few episodes, and then she pops up later with 11. You see her mom again, 11's mom. Remember, she was kind of useless last time in helping, and she still is now, but 11 can connect with her, so there's that. But there's just so much going on in here, and it was fun and interesting, a lot of funny stuff. It all happens around Halloween, and it was enjoyable. I didn't get bored of it. I was really excited once I got started. I delayed it a little bit, but watched other things, caught up on Arrow and that kind of thing. That reminds me, there's some flashbacks for 11 where she's, in the woods before she moves in with Hopper, and it just reminded me of the Lian Yu flashbacks for the Green Arrow, so pretty funny there. But yeah, I mean, there are all kinds of crazy references you need to pick up on. Some, it's not so subtle as last time. Some of them are a little ham-handed, but they're still fun, and the whole show was enjoyable. So I do highly recommend it. And if you haven't watched the first season, for God's sake, you're listening to me ramble about the second. Watch it all. Watch it, and I'm sure you've watched it if you're sitting here listening to me, because you don't want anything ruined. So there you go. But I do appreciate you guys tuning in. And I hope you enjoy your Halloween, as this is dropping then. And, yeah, I have no kid this year, so I will be sitting on my ass waiting for no trick-or-treaters to show up while I eat all the candy in the bag that I purchased. And I've eaten half of it already. So, yeah, I'm sure many of you can identify with that. So, anyway, I implore you, head over to bunny17media.com and go get some books. We have the Blast of the Clown book, which we've talked about here before. It's a comic/coloring book, and it's a lot of fun and silly, and involves a lot of characters from the Abnormal Entertainment movies that we've made over the years. There is also Search for the Book of the Guardians, which is the kids' book that my daughter and I wrote, and we're getting some nice reviews on it so far, which is really great. And we're basically debuting it at Tucson Comic-Con this weekend. So if you're down there, please come get a copy from us, and we'll happily sign it. And I bet you can even get Casey to draw you a picture, because she did illustrate the thing, and she likes doing that. So there you go. Wouldn't be too tough a call, but yeah. We will be doing some Cinema Head Cheese panels down there. Just check out Tucson Comic-Con on Twitter, and they have their whole thing up there, or TucsonComicCon.com. So they have the whole schedule there. There's a Masterpiece Theater panel on Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday have 3 Cinema Head Cheese panels. So we're going to have fun with those. But anyhow, when you go to bunny17media.com, if you go that way, use the code CHC when you check out, and you'll get 15% off of everything. If you buy one thing, you buy everything. It doesn't matter. You get 15% off. So it doesn't matter if it's an ebook or a regular book or whatever. You get it. So there you have it. And, yeah, that's that. I do appreciate you guys tuning in, as always. And, if you can support us through Bunny17, however you like to do that, it's always appreciated. And I think my next one I'm going to be doing, I think I'm finally going to finish off the AKA Wyatt Cenac, the online show that he did. I liked it, what I've seen so far, so I want to finish that out and give you a full review. And that's all I have this week. Again, happy Halloween. Go enjoy Stranger Things 2 if you haven't already, or go watch it a second time. It's fun. I might do the same. And I will see you next time. Subscribe and download back episodes of Cinema Head Cheese the podcast, and read all of our movie reviews and news at cinemaheadcheese.com. Email us at cinemaheadcheese@yahoo.com. Search Cinema Head Cheese on Facebook, and tweet us at CINHeadCheese. And for more podcasts, books, comics, blogs, and videos, head to abnormalentertainment.com.
You've been listening to the Abnormal Entertainment Network.